Hello again, good morning. Dan Alasso, Making History. And this is day 15 of my retrenchment odyssey, and that means I have 266 days to go. This is going to be a short one because yesterday I spent about 11 hours in the car taking our son Gio to move into the dorms at Minnesota State University at Mankato, which is in southern Minnesota on the other end of the state. So it was a big day for us, and it was a long day. While I was there, actually, I had an opportunity to have a cup of coffee with a friend who had actually been my professor in my very first ever historiography class. So someone who helped me to become the historian that I am now, and someone who is now the dean of the library and learning at Minnesota State Mankato. And he and the library people that work with him are doing some really, really cool and interesting things to work towards building a learning community for 21st century students. And so that was very inspiring. Long story short, but I will elaborate on the longer part of the story over the next days and weeks. I wrote and I talked yesterday about entrepreneurs in small businesses who try to understand what their customer wants and needs and then figure out what they can contribute. And then they design a response, a product or a service that adds value, and they craft a message that articulates and explains this value add. The implication, of course, was that I thought that Bemidji State ought to be more like a responsive, nimble entrepreneur responding to changing customer needs, and less like those dinosaur executives that I talked about who drink their own Kool-Aid, and I know I'm mixing metaphors here, but drink their own Kool-Aid and believe their own hype and try to force the market to go where they want to go, because of course they know better. Now, as I was talking to my friend, and then as I was thinking about it on the long drive back to Bemidji, I started thinking about how this applies to me, because it does apply to me as well, of course. My discovery, and now I am finally getting to the point here, my discovery yesterday was that I had been thinking of myself as a history professor who occasionally happens to write some open textbooks, some OERs, open educational resources. What I learned, what I discovered, and the change in my thinking is that as much as I love the content that I teach, and as much as I am fascinated and interested in the topics that I research, I am actually an open education guy who happens to do history. So that is the epiphany. I suspect that this will inform my thinking and my actions moving forward. And if you're interested in seeing how that plays out, stay tuned, because it will all play out right here. So I hope you found that a little bit interesting. Thank you very much for reading or listening or watching, and I will see you again